You're watching Points of Interest.
Hello everybody and welcome to Points of Interest. As you can hopefully tell, I am not Ruby Bayer, but instead I'll be standing in for her today as she's on a well-deserved vacation. I am Joshua Davis, aka Grouch, and you're probably more familiar with me with a show called Ready Up. Anyways, if you guys have been keeping an eye on GuildWars2.com this week, you're probably relatively aware that we've been talking about guilds this week and all of the features that are going to affect the guilds in some sort with Heart of Thorns. Guilds are a fundamental part of Guild Wars 2, obviously, and one of the major goals with Heart of Thorns is to improve that functionality and to make that much more of an engaging experience. On today's show, we actually got a clip about 24 minutes long with Link Hughes and Ruby Bayer describing kind of an in-depth in-game preview of guild halls and what all those features will entail. And then we'll follow that up with John Peters and Jessica Bodeger and myself, and we'll be talking about guild claiming, which is a primarily Wolves' World feature. We'll be talking about guild teams, and we'll actually be showing off the guild arena where you and your guild can skirmish and have fun in a PvP sense inside your guild hall. Now, before we get into that, I kind of want to just outline some of the 6 tenets or kind of the fundamental guiding principles for guild halls, and that's kind of led the team as they've been developing the features. And if you read the blogs from Link Hughes, you're probably familiar with this from the Welcome to Guild Halls post that he came out with originally. So first of all, it's emphasizing community and fellowship. As you know, playing games with friends is much more engaging than just playing by yourself. So we really want to embrace that and make that more of a thing. Also giving players a place to call their own within Tyria. I mean, what can be better than knowing that you have a place to go to inside the game that is really just for you and your friends? The third one is allowing players to build a shared history that really reflects how you and your guild have grown as time has gone on. Fourth is bringing guilds more into the world and basically making guilds more of a presence within that world. Right now you have your guild tag, and that really kind of embodies what you are and like how you are as a player, but we want to make that even more visible as you play in the game. And we'll describe how we're doing that a little bit later on in the show. Fifth, providing a platform for guilds to express their creativity. There's a lot of really cool stuff in guild halls that we'll be showing off today. Basically, the obstacle system that we'll show you off in the guild arena is a prime example of this, but basically allowing guilds to kind of customize their guild hall to be an expression of their guild and what they're all about. And lastly, and most importantly, probably is creating new ways for guilds to play together. And again, today's show will really be a testament to what we'll be, what that's all about. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Link, Hughes, and Ruby, who've done a pre-recorded segment for us, and they're going to be walking you through the very first guild hall we'll be showing off, which is going to be Gilded Hollows. Thanks for watching, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Points of Interest. Thanks for hanging out with Josh for a little while. I am on vacation this week. I think I'm probably whale watching or something while you are hanging out and watching this live. So thank you for Josh for sitting in. Right now I am pre-recording this. I want to thank Link, our game designer, for coming and doing some pre-recording with me. We're going to take a look at guild halls. I know you guys have been waiting all week, and I know you've been watching and reading some guild posts by Link. So thank you for doing a ton of writing.
My pleasure.
And now you get to show off what you guys have been working on. So let's do it.
I'm super happy to get the word out.
All right, so what are we going to see first? We are in the guild hall, and this is freaking enormous.
Yeah. So
I'm
this
like
is
frantically panning around because I don't know where to look first.
this is the Gilded Hollow. It's one of the 2 guild halls that we're going to be shipping with, and it is titanic. This is this really long. If you want to follow me,
I'm coming. There's just a lot. I'm working on it, but look at this.
That's fair.
Have you seen this?
I have, in fact.
Okay, just checking. It's enormous.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, no.
Here we go.
You don't even know. Jesse, our map artist, has just absolutely knocked these maps out of the park.
What's this? All right. Coming.
First person view is a good way to experience the guild halls.
This little tunnel down here. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna go slow and stop and pan around.
That's
so
fair.
everybody can see.
So the Gilded Hollow has this very like jungly kind of I don't know. This opening entryway reminds me of sort of like a lost Raiders of the Lost Ark, or like actually not at all Raiders of the Lost Ark, considering that happened in the desert. As I think about it, the whole Gilded Hollow is this sort of ruined outpost underneath the jungle. When we get to the main plaza, you'll actually see that it's beneath this like giant fissure. Jesse used a number of different caves as inspirations, but one, I believe it's called Hang Sam Doom. I apologize to everyone who speaks Korean. I believe it's Korean that I just hideously mispronounced. But it's one of the largest caves in the world. It's so large that it actually has its own underground jungle because of this giant sinkhole in the ceiling that brought down enough water and sunlight that plants could grow.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So
that is incredibly shiny.
the whole thing is kind of carved out of these giant chunks of gold.
There we go. Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Zoom in as you come up those stairs, though. Like this view is just magnifico.
And the whole thing is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, so this is one of the things, right? Like, we've sort of emphasized this. The guild halls in Guild Wars 1 were good size, but relatively small, and of course everything was outside. In Guild Wars 2, we wanted to take the concept of guild hall and go a lot further. So a lot of other games that we looked at that had, guild housing type features give you kind of a building, and sometimes a really large building or kind of like a complex. But we just wanted to go further, and we decided to put these guild halls in the world, not in the mists. So they're really part of the story of the expansion. And then we just went crazy with them, and they're gigantic. They're so large, honestly, that I keep finding new little details. Like every now and then, I'll just run around and explore, and I keep finding like hidden nooks and crannies. Yeah, they're just
Oh my
stunning.
word.
So this is kind of the main plaza that you're running through now. And did you look up at the beautiful?
I did. I panned
Picture up
in
there.
and panned up like you said.
Nice.
And I feel like I'm like frantically whipping the camera around, and I really do apologize. I am trying to see everything at once.
Well, there'll be plenty of time once Heart of Thorns comes
Yeah.
out to experiment. Once you have your guild hall, it's cool. You can take your time,
All right.
check out the ruins, build buildings.
Build buildings?
Yes.
What?
You can build buildings. So here we are in the tavern, and as you can see, it's this kind of like temporary setup. Here's some of the proprietors. So each of the buildings has its own proprietor who has a series of upgrades associated with them. I'll tell you what, Ruby, why don't you get back out to like a wide view of it?
Okay.
Because I'm going to go ahead and kick off completing the building of your guild tavern.
Okay. How's this? Is this good?
Further.
Seriously, keep going?
A little further.
Okay. And I'm not just messing around.
All right.
I
Yep. Nope.
am
That'll be
kind
good.
of worried.
Oh no, it's big.
All right.
So
Do it.
here we go. Get ready. All right, here we
It's kind
go.
of cool as it is.
It is pretty cool, but it gets
But give us more.
way cooler.
That is not better.
Patience.
Oh!
Patience.
Oh my gosh.
Be ready to pan. It's gonna go. It's gonna
Oh,
go
oh,
up.
oh, 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 oh. So cool.
And that is your completed tavern.
That is quite a tavern.
Come on in.
I think I will. I like how the bartender went on in. He knows what's up.
Yeah, it's one thing we're doing with the guild halls.
It's so cool.
Welcome to the guild tavern, or the Gilded Hollow Tavern, anyway.
That is
Um,
amazing. Check it out. There's little tables and
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Let's
Plates
go over
and-
here by a table. Okay. Let's toast to the tavern.
cheers.
Oh man, I can't get this logo side out. Cheers.
Nice. Brought to you by Morgemoth.
Yeah. Right.
That was awesome.
High five.
That is beautiful. Absolutely. This is fantastic.
The arts.
So pretty.
The art in
Thank
these
you.
places. Let's go do another one.
Thank you, map artists.
Yes.
Let's give me just a sec. Let's kind of peek around in here a little
fair enough.
bit.
I tell you what. I'll go over, get in position. You can
Okay.
just TTF to me when you're ready.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. And everybody can get a little look around here. I like the rugs. So beautiful.
Yep.
It all is. Oh my gosh, just everything.
There's so many places in this map where you it's a screenshot if you stop moving your camera, like some touched up thing, but no, it's actually the game.
Yeah, this is just what it looks like.
So look that way. That's back where we came in, right? Like that's the other side of this giant aquifer
me.
that the Gilded Hollow sits on.
Okay.
So like if you pan right, you'll see like it's just this massive body of water,
Yep.
kind of this underground lake that the Gilded Hollow is atop. And then back up this way,
Such gilding.
such hollow.
Shiny.
Yeah, man. So much gold. So much gold. That ruined set of giant pillars that you're looking at, that is one of the other guild buildings, the workshop.
Uh-oh, wait, where'd you go?
Up there, and yep, keep going to your right. I'm just over to the right.
Hey, dude, there's Nasera in our guild hall.
Mm-hmm.
Invited
Yeah,
that
there's this
guy.
whole organization, right? The Guild Initiative, that is kind of like a booster organization for guilds. With the Pact Fleet in tatters, the Guild Initiative has been founded as kind of the world government's way of continuing to deal with the dragon threat because lacking an airship fleet that has not made the Elder Dragons go away. And so the Guild Initiative wants to sign you up and help you as a guild go out and make Tyria a better place, fight the dragon threat. And so the guild halls are actually these places that are of strategic importance to Mordremoth. They were absolutely infested with Mordrum until you clear them out and sort of cut off Mordremoth's influence to this place. And once that happens, it's now yours, and the agreement that the Guild Initiative has sort of brokered for you is that this place is wholly yours, as long as you are willing to settle it and hold it against the dragons from recapture.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right on. So the workshop over here, this kind of, again, ruined, this way. This ruined set of pillars and things is the home of the new crafting discipline that is guild-specific, scribing. I know you're super excited about scribing.
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
So you should get a good view because I'm going to build the workshop now.
Okay.
You're looking at the temporary structure, but the actual structure is to your left. That one. All right, I'm going to do this thing. Let's do it.
Whoa!
And it begins.
I cannot tell you how much I love the building animation.
Fly, my pretties, fly. Yeah.
Look!
Again, they just knocked it out. And like,
so gorgeous.
when I thought workshop,
Waterfall.
right? Like when I asked for like, we need this workshop building from the artists, they were like, cool, yeah, we'll totally make that. And I thought it'll be like a barn with like some crafting stations in it.
And
It'll
they
be
said,
great.
haha, that's adorable.
It's a funny thing I've learned about working with artists here at ArenaNet is they refuse to make anything that doesn't look amazing.
Right?
And so you have these like visions in your head of like, oh, there'll be like a basic version of something, and it'll just be really simple. And then they give you this like absolutely stunning thing, and yeah, it's been fantastic. So
Wait
that's a
minute,
scribing
I didn't
station.
notice this last night.
Oh, the crazy like magical ticker tape.
Yeah.
Yup,
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
they are.
They're so good.
Uh,
Hello. So, like, lots of your guildies can come in here and
Oh, yeah.
everybody gets one.
Yeah, I mean, you can use any of them, just like a normal crafting
Yeah.
station, right? This is a cool thing that my programmer Seth just hooked up. Okay, I think. Yes, there we go.
What? What is that?
That is
I mean,
the
it's cool, but
etheric assembly device. It is the thing that allows your guild to turn sort of magical inscriptions, or inscription is the wrong word, we use that elsewhere, magical schematics, like these sort of magical diagrams and incantations, into usable tools for your guild by assembling like raw ether into these tools. And so
Amazing.
this is the place where that happens. This is kind of the device that makes that work. And so one of the big things about scribing is that while there are some personal items for you to make, the majority of things that you craft with it are these schematics, which when you craft them don't go into your inventory. They go into this device and are there for your guild to assemble.
that is extremely cool.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Actually, so we're about to go into we're about to go into the arena, or we're going to build the arena and then just take a quick look at it. I think Josh and John are actually going to explore the arena in the Lost Precipice, our other map.
You guys are going to see that live pretty soon. If you haven't already, I may have just
It's beautiful.
dictated the order of this presentation.
Yeah.
Surprise!
Fair. I will say the Gilded Hollow is like this symphony of just lush, beautiful exploration
gorgeous.
spaces. The Gilded Hollow has a lot of sort of like interesting, mysterious spaces to discover. The Lost Precipice is like an ode to cliff diving and gliding.
I'm so glad we're here.
Yeah.
Seriously, I don't have a UI. Gliding is harder.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
That is my excuse for evermore.
But let's take a moment to talk about new guild armor and guild weapons.
Yes.
This is the new guild armor set.
This is the Beerstein set.
Yeah, right.
Come back, wait, Link, come back. Holy crap.
Put it away. So this is the heavy set, and I know that you're wearing the most hilarious bug
You guys,
ever.
this has been going on for like 2 days now.
Yep. It's
The great sword is real. All
it's
right,
true.
but
I can't put it away, and I just love it. I love my greatsword.
But you know what? But you know what? Now we can like really get a good look at it.
That's fair. So we're also introducing a new tier of guild weapons, and the new tier actually comes in 2 versions. So this is the Tenebrous
man.
version,
That's awesome.
and each of the versions of the guild weapons is tied to one of the 2 guild maps, you'll be able to get a resource that you need to craft it from that guild map. So if you want to craft both, you'll need to either have multiple guilds that have different guild halls or go visit a friend's guild hall and help them out there.
Okay.
But yeah, so the Tenebrous weapons, I'll go ahead and equip a couple more. Let's see.
Okay.
This is the sword and
Okay,
shield.
let me come over here and I'll take a peek at the shield.
The shield is really cool.
Oh, the shield is amazing.
Yep. And you can kind of see on the sword there that the Tenebrous versions actually like do have some like shadow particles bleeding off them, but mostly they're just kind of translucent.
Yeah,
Or
it looks
transparent.
great.
Translucent is maybe the wrong word.
That is incredibly cool. I love it.
Right on. Thank you so much to our amazing art modelers and
Yeah, you guys
texture artists and
did a
effects artists.
fantastic job. So
You've got some cool stuff too.
yeah, why don't you kill your UI?
Okay, I will
And
kill
we'll
my UI.
Show me off.
So that's the sword and pistol of the Shimmering set, which is
Yeah.
the version that you'll be able to build with the material from the Lost Precipice. Do you want to switch to a couple others?
Yeah, I do. I'm so in love with the pistol that I just keep
That's fair, the pistol
eyeballing
is-
it. Let's see what else I have
Very
here.
cool. Got an axe, and that's the focus.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, axe and focus. Or I'm sorry, scepter and focus. It just is kind of axe shaped.
That's fair.
I don't know. I was like, Link'll know. I'll just start equipping things.
Yeah, so as you can see, the shimmering versions are opaque, but they have this kind of cool staff.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
They have this cool sort of like almost like rippled water effect, sort of slowly moving across
Absolutely
them. I think they're
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
Let's see what else I have.
Everyone loves a great sword,
Great sword.
which shows off this effect to maximum degree.
Right? Well, I think we just have like the most surface area here. But
Yeah, it's fair.
yeah, I love the great sword, and you'll notice that I dyed my armor to match as best I could.
How very coordinated of you.
I like your description of my characters. Would you call it early 90s paladin?
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
Late 80s, early
like
90s
fantasy paladin.
Fancy paladin. I wonder if that character name's taken. It is now that I've said it.
Fair.
Yep. She is. She's fancy paladin.
Race to the top, ransom the name to Ruby. Okay, let's see. So let's go ahead and build the arena. So you're going to want a really wide angle on this one.
Okay.
So the arena is to your right,
Let's see.
your other right, now to your left. You've gone far enough that left became right.
Okay, I'm looking at this thing with the blue and red banners.
So that's the temporary structure. When you start building one of the buildings, there's like a temporary structure that goes up that you can go ahead and start unlocking some of the upgrades and things associated with that building. But when the final building gets completed, that's the
Is
one
this
you want.
scaffolding? Yeah, okay.
Okay, don't get too close because this is
Going
immense.
to punch you in the eye.
Yep, it's pretty big. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
So
must turn on UI.
there's our little temporary building, and here the
Let's go ahead
scaffolding.
and here we go. And you can just see me there in the corner as scale.
Link for scale.
Yep, and yep.
Whoa,
oh,
it just keeps
yeah.
going. Oh my gosh.
Let's go take a look up there. Come on up.
Oh man.
See,
Nice.
that's where you can go in. You can team switch. Well, I'll let them talk about it.
Yep.
I won't
Yeah,
steal their
I
thunder.
know it's hard not to just freak out
But
over everything.
The cool thing about the Gilded Hollow Arena is that it makes for a lovely launching point
Darn it.
for
All right, let's see if I can.
for tours.
Terrible at gliding.
Okay, so let's go over here. We're gonna glide across the crystal chamber. You can see it down there if you look down.
You know, I wouldn't jump off the edge of a cliff for just anybody. Oh, holy crap.
Yeah,
Look at
you
this,
see the
you
crystal down
guys.
there?
It's so beautiful. Yeah, I do want to talk about the crystal, so it's
Oh, we can
motivation.
go ahead and glide down there.
Ooh.
So okay,
All right, so I jump.
so jump and press and hold space, and then you can let go once you've like. There you go, you did it. Oh,
I
God,
didn't
don't-
touch anything.
Don't press space again.
Wait a minute. No. Hold on. I just saw it happen. The glider opened and I hadn't touched anything yet.
That's because, yeah, so watch me do it, ready? And it's probably easier in third person. So I'm gonna press forward and press and hold space, here we go. Forward and press and hold space, and then just look, it's just happening. You don't have to press anything else. And you could be like, I wanna lose altitude rapidly. Oh God, I'm gonna die. No, but I'm gliding. I'm gliding.
All
And
right.
then I make a perfect landing.
I'll look at that later because I am convinced that I didn't press space in the first place.
Fair. I'm going to zoom in here.
That's weird.
So,
Okay, so
this is one of those places that I feel is like, looks like a painting, but it's just live in our game right here. The crystal for the Gilded Hollow is just...
Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous.
So gorgeous. So the crystal is kind of the heart of your guild.
Okay.
It's the thing that you're sort of fighting your way towards when you're trying to claim the map and clear it of Morgemoth's influence. And yeah, I don't want to say too much about it right now.
Let's not tell too many secrets.
Fair. It's sad that the nature of Guild Story is that it is one big massive spoiler. Because, like, hey, you're going to get a guild hall, and here's the terrible plot twist. But it's all good.
There's a lot of really neat stuff for you guys to discover. I mean, that's the best thing about all of this is that we're just giving you guys the little beginning. We're just giving you guys part of this.
Yes. I mean...
This is hard.
Yes. There's a lot. There's a lot. And yeah, we'll just say that. Let's show one more thing, and then we'll go ahead and turn it back over to Josh and John. So this crazy lovely thing is the guild portal. And
that was that thing you said we weren't going to touch.
Oh no, we can touch this. This allows you to fast travel to a number of locations, but one of the cool things about it is that, oh, my UI is off. Here we go. One of the things you can do is not just fast travel yourself, but open a portal for a whole group of your guildies to go through.
Nice.
And anybody who touches the portal while it's up will travel just like this. Bloop. Join me. Come. Go to Lion's Arch with me. Go. Lion's Arch, go, quick, go. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Ruby. And
that was awesome.
It's been a blast. And can't wait to show all of you the amazing magic that is the guild system, guild halls, everything it entails. Read blogs, talk on forums, and
play Guild Wars 2.
Please, join us in game. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that little presentation there from Ruby and Link detailing guild halls and a lot of the systems that are involved in that. I'm now joined by John Peters, you guys are very familiar with, and Jessica Bodeger, you guys are also familiar with. John Peters is the design lead that is kind of giving guidance on the guild halls team, or kind of the guild team in general, right? Mm-hmm. And then Jessica Bodeger is obviously the competitive QA. She's a QA for the competitive team, so has her hands in literally everything that we put out from War vs. World and PvP.
This is true.
So one thing that Link and Ruby did not touch on in the video there was guild arenas. And we're going to jump into that now.
So you're suggesting that there are things that are connected between competitive and guild halls?
I'm saying you could probably punch people in the face inside of your guild hall.
Oh.
But
Let's find out.
More to that point, we'll be jumping into guild arenas first. And then we'll be moving on to guild claiming, which actually has not been detailed in a blog yet, but this is a War vs. World system that works with your war room, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then we'll also be talking about what are we called guild teams, which is a way for you and your guild to kind of gain prestige and move up the ladder with a 5 versus 5 structured PvP.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and jump into the video for guild arenas here now. And John, if you could just kind of walk us through what's going on here.
I mean, one of the buildings, I think the blog for the buildings came out. So one of the buildings is the arena. And what we like to call this is brawling. You basically can go here and fight other players in your guild. You could invite people from other guilds into your guild hall and fight them as well. You can see sort of the beginnings of this. There are a number of teams. There are 3 set teams, which are a blue and a red and a green. People might be familiar with those colors. And then there's, on top of that, a free-for-all team, because you might just want to kill everyone. So that's the idea. You can put decorations in here. You can see right now one of the programmers for this team, he kind of was running the decoration stuff as people were going on. But you can see people just fighting. And on the fly, you can add decorations just to kind of mess with people. It's obviously a permission thing, so not everyone can do it. Some of the things are turrets. Some of the things are
there's different kinds of turrets, right?
Yeah, different kinds of turrets.
And they're not the turrets you'd think of. Like he placed one down just now, right?
Yes.
So there's like ones I think that do healing, some just do straight damage.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the kind of thing that like is gonna grow. It's a set of things that we can kind of keep making cool and keep adding stuff to. You can see these are actual line of sight pillars. He's now removing them so that you can kind of do that on the fly too, in case you want to really troll people that are fighting each other. But yeah.
So it's basically a combat sandbox where you can kind of make your own.
Yeah.
Make your own
combat
game modes.
sandbox.
Awesome.
Do stuff. You could have one person on red, green, and blue, and one person on the free for all team who can kill all of them.
Yeah,
right.
true. Basically limited by your imagination, essentially.
Yes, that's the goal anyway. The goal, and as you can see, Josh makes sure I was going to say this, like, you can see that there's a place where you might fall off, Skyhammer style. That's a thing that you can turn on and off, so, don't fear, not every map will be dominated by Guardians with hammers.
Yeah, so like right there on the right side there, you can see that it's actually able to be turned on and off. And there's also a barrier that prevents people from jumping over the ledge into the arena as well, right?
Yeah, so basically to enter, you have to talk to a guy and basically say, I'm going in on this team. So people can't just like jump in there and run around like.
But you could have spectators.
But yeah, people can stand. Anyone else in the guild call can kind of like stand around around the whole edge of the thing and just watch as the fights are going on. It's super fun. I remember the first time we got this up and someone was like trying to show us the decorations. I'm like, get that out of my way! I'm trying to kill Izzy, right? And it was like.
Excellent.
So
yeah.
One thing that I think is important to mention is that the limits on team size here, or like basically what's possible inside this arena.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. I think it's basically limited to what feels comfortable in there. This is like a map, so it can have like the amount of people that are in a map. And how many people we're gonna let actually brawl? I think there's still some flux going on, but it's big. You guys did this the other day, this video where I think it was like maybe 8 to 12 of you or something like that. But you could do it with like 20, 30 people for sure. So.
Yep. And then you could have even more than that. And again, just to reiterate, actually, that number is in flux. It sounds like.
Yeah.
But the number of players that could even be spectating or in there at any time is even higher than that.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot. In the actual guild hall, it's like over 100 for sure. And the way they work is they kind of like as people are coming, like it'll grow your hall for you, and people can come in, and then you can have tons of people watching and some amount of people playing. And I think we sort of just talked about that. So
you talked about some other the obstacles that are in there. So there was the turrets you mentioned. There's a lot of actual terrain obstacles that you can put on the ground here. I believe there's also things like lava pools.
Yeah, there's sort of. So far, everything that we could have imagined, or a lot of what we could have imagined, but like this is again like I think they'll grow. There's lava pools that do damage. There's turrets. There's pillars, and there's just sort of variety stuff. And the more stuff that this is a system that's expandable. Like in the way that all our other Heartthorn stuff is about like setting foundation. Like guild halls is about setting the foundation for your guild. Like we want to add more stuff to the arena. It's always going to be growing, right? That's the idea. So.
Yeah, so I think Jessica said it the best earlier, is that this is kind of just a sandbox.
Yeah.
Players can make it what they want, whether you want to be 1v1ing in here, if you want to do 1v1v1.
Yep.
If you want to do...
Yeah, someone just said 1v3v1.
Yeah, there you go.
Or 1v1v1v1v1v1, like, 20 people just like last man standing.
Yeah, it'd be like, what the hell is that show called? Where they all run at the stuff in the middle at the beginning.
Hunger Games?
Hunger Games, yeah, it could be Hunger Games. Why can I not think of that?
Yeah.
I don't
I'm so bad
know.
at this. Yeah, anyway, so there's a lot of stuff that people can do, and excited to see what people actually brainstorm and come up with.
Yeah.
All right. And so actually a quick note here, there is, as mentioned in the blog, there are currently 2 guild halls. They're going to be going out with Heart of Thorns. We're only showing off one today.
Yeah, so they were talking about the other one in their live stream.
Yeah.
I was watching, and we're actually not showing it. We're showing the arena from the Gilded Hollow that they were showing. So yeah, there is a second one, which is also really cool.
This is a quick note there. All right, so moving on from that, we also have PvP guild teams. And I think this is a bit more of your wheelhouse, Jessica, if you want to talk about that a little bit and kind of what the feature is.
Yeah, so I'm especially excited about this because basically players are going to be able to create rosters underneath their guild banner and represent their guild in structured PvP game modes like Conquest and then Stronghold once we release that with Heart of Thorns. So I think it's going to give guilds the opportunity to kind of put forth the best of the best, and we're going to have a guild leaderboard that you'll be able to see how you rank up against other guild teams and basically just make a name for yourself and, you know, potentially aspire to get into some of our more hardcore tournaments like WTS. And so I think it's a good tool to help players organize and just kind of gain a reputation in PvP.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like there's the whole that speaking of, like we say this all the time, like the foundation, right? Like guild teams means that like we can have teams for more than PvP at some point. It means that we can have like what can we do? What can you do with a team in PvP? It's like this is like the step of like, okay, now we have teams. Now we can have leaderboards. Like what are the things we can do with teams? I think
like teams could, I think to dig deeper what you're saying is teams aren't necessarily a PvP only feature, but could be look to be extended to other areas of the game.
And importantly too, like what they can do of just being on a leaderboard is just the first thing that that's just the first thing we can do with teams in PvP also, right? So they're a really good like stepping stone and a really good like foundational layer for a bunch of stuff that we're going to be able to do, which is exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We've never had the concept of teams in PvP. We've always had players claim leaderboards individually. It's really never been anything to show like how good a certain guild or group is. So it'll be interesting to see the new levels of competition that come out from guilds that want to compete and get their guild a bit more known in those realms.
Yeah.
All right. So that's another thing that'll be talked a bit more about today on the blogs. And the last thing we're going to talk about today is going to be what we're calling guild claiming, which is a massive world versus world system, which we're incredibly excited about. And again, there'll be a blog later on today that details the thing fairly extensively. But we figured we'd give you guys a little sneak peek today and talk about it a little bit here. What do you think?
I'm also really excited about this. Guild claiming already exists in World vs. World today, but it's not as robust as we want it to be. So releasing guild halls in Heart of Thorns is giving us the opportunity to really expand and add progression there. And make it more meaningful for guilds to capture objectives in World vs. World and actually hold on to them and defend them and stake their claim on them. So a couple of examples of some of the awesome stuff we're bringing. There are tactics and tools that you're able to craft inside your war room, which is a building you can create in your guild hall, and also improvements. And once you do this, you're able to go into World vs. World, fight as you normally would, but when you capture an objective and claim it for your guild, you're now able to slot some of these tactics and tools and improvements to help you better defend. For example, there's turret gates, so if you need to go and be on the move, you can rest assured that there's some defenses at your gate if an enemy comes. There are banners that are tools that you're able to create and take out onto the battlefield. They have a variety of purposes. Some of them are kind of support banners. Some of them are more offensive.
They're all kind of themed to one specific purpose, though, right?
Yeah, like for example, the turtle banner definitely will help you, buff your team and keep them healed and protected. And then we have like the dragon banner, which is super offensive and just does a ton of damage and knockbacks and cool stuff like that.
So I know we're continually iterating on what each one of these skills do to make sure that we get the balance right on them, etc. But do the skills kind of scale? Like think of a regular character weapon. Like you've got your skills at lower cooldown left side, and you get this progressively stronger skills as you go further right on the bar. Is that how banners are going to be similarly themed?
Absolutely.
So do you have any kind of maybe rough examples of what we might expect for like a 5 slot on a banner?
Well, we're still kind of tweaking those. We want to make them the most awesome as possible, but we also have to keep in mind that, they can't be super overpowered, especially since it's not going to be something that you can immediately get. So guilds will have to, work hard to slot these things in their objectives and then have them as utility to bring out into the battlefield. So we're still kind of talking numbers and playing around with a couple ideas. So.
I remember there was originally some conversation about those skills having very long cooldowns just because they would be some of the most impactful skills. Is that still relatively true?
I think we want it to be more active gameplay, so I would expect it to be very similar to weapon skills. Again, we're still kind of balancing that stuff, but the purpose of it is to have a proactive role in you're not just there to carry the banner and be like, hey guys, I'm here with a banner. Like we want people to be engaged in combat as well and be able to use those skills and feel really powerful and awesome.
Okay. And again, those are things you can carry into battle literally anywhere in World vs. World.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like, just since they didn't get too much into the workshop, but this like ties to it so much. You basically have this scribing profession, and then you create these blueprints, not blueprints, those are wrong, schematics, and you place those in your queue of your workshop. And by the way, there's a queue for regular stuff, and there's a specific queue just for the World v. World stuff. And then you can like just be constantly building these things, these upgrades and whatever. And I mean, like this claiming system already exists in the game. It's just really terrible. It's like that little thing that like you do that does nothing when you talk to a guy.
Yeah,
or
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
And so
They said it.
like the new thing is like it's a real system in the game, and you go and you see like, okay, there are different tiers of upgrades, and like you have to hold an objective for a certain amount of time before you can place this improvement, before you can put this tactic thing down. Like this objective needs to be held for some amount of time, and then you get to that point, and it's like, okay, now we can put down the gate turrets. Like now and so it's like it's gonna make you want to hold the stuff, which is really awesome.
Yep.
And that's sort of the whole thing of like taking that system with like the claiming thing was supposed to be that sort of investment system and wasn't, and this is sort of the real version of it, right? So
Yeah, and I'm going to segue off that to talk about some of the really more powerful upgrades. And again, as you slot these things, you need to be holding the objective for periods of time to have the ability to slot in some of these more awesome upgrades. We have an airship strike that you can call down on Stone Mist that it's gorgeous. You can kind of see it at some point in it'll come up at some point in the background. But you can call down a massive airstrike that just wipes out your enemies while you're defending Stone Mist. Another one I'm particularly looking forward to in Stone Mist is you may be familiar with the pools of water and the fountains in the courtyards there. There will be an improvement that you're able to slot where if you run through that pool of water, you and your allies can be stealthed and kind of, coordinate a sneak attack, which will be really neat to see how that plays out. It makes me think of in MOBAs like Dota, how you can do smoke of deceit and creep through their forest and, surprise them and gain the advantage. So that'll be really cool to see how players use that. Another one I'm super excited for is the Charkar. So
Is that the official name?
it is now. I've said it 100 times at E3, so it is definitely no longer internal name.
It's on the video here somewhere. You can see the
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
Charkars, Mad Max
It's super
style,
Mad
all
Max
across the
style.
desert.
yeah.
So that's another tactic that you're able to slot at supply camps. And it's literally a player transform into a super badass motorcycle that you can tear across the desert in. It has a whole skill set associated with it, so you can actually fight other players in it if you wanted to, but it's also essentially a mobile siege weapon, so you can roll up with your guild and do a bunch of damage to the gate. And I think this is going to have really cool gameplay for smaller groups because you get this Charkar and you escort them, and you're able to take down a gate really easily without having to build a flame ram, for example.
So we've been talking a lot of defensive upgrades, right? But there's also some defensive ones, things that'll help you defend your objectives better.
Oh,
Right?
you said offensive. You said defensive twice.
He meant
Did I?
offensive.
I meant offensive.
We've been talking offensive.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's
Yes.
You're never
defensive
coming on
ones,
live
too.
stream with me ever again. Sorry, I meant a lot of the upgrades you're talking about are very offensive, right? And I want to talk a bit more about the defensive ones. We have some upgrades that are going to be built specifically to defend your objectives better, right? Or
Yep.
enabled you to do so better.
Yeah, so among some of the tactics, they're kind of like one-use skills.
Wow, you totally
This is
messed
all-
up. We're gonna watch out
Let's
for
start
him now when
over.
he
We
messes up.
should.
Yeah.
All eyes
I
on
never
you now,
make any
John.
mistakes, don't worry.
A one-use skill that goes on cooldown for a period of time, which we're still kind of balancing how long that should be. But an example of helping you be more defensive and keep your objectives. We have things like invulnerable gates, invulnerable walls. It's essentially like fortifying your structure. Not to reference MOBAs again, but if your base is under attack and you need to buy some time, you can fortify and make your walls and gates invulnerable for a short period of time. And
Do you have any? I know the numbers are still changing, but kind of rough idea of what that duration would be.
I think it needs to be. It's going to be difficult to balance, right? Because World versus World is it's massive. It takes
Yeah.
a long time to traverse the areas there. So it needs to be long enough that you can call for backup and hopefully, get people there, but it also needs to not feel bad for the people who are attacking and like, come on, this is just invulnerable for like a minute. It's definitely not going to be a minute, but you see what I'm saying. We have to kind of find a good balance between this buys me enough time to get reinforces and not feel like, well, let's just move on to another objective because they fortified it and we're not going to get in. So we're kind of playing around with that, and we'll have more details about the actual durations and things hopefully soon. We're nailing that all down.
It's a bit about like actually taking those places, owning them for your guild, like holding them, customizing them, right? It's just, it sort of feels like when you play a board game and they add an expansion to the board game that adds a bunch of rules, like that's what guild claiming feels like to me, right? Where it's like, this is a new set of rules for like how you play World v World. Like now all of a sudden you don't just like take a place and like check a checkbox to take it. Like you are customizing this place when you're holding it. Like my guild is holding this and this is what we're doing to hold it. And this is how we're making it better. And you kind of choose how you make each place better, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. There's options for all of these tactics improvements. So you can choose which ones you want to slot and at which time. So it'll add a lot of variety and interesting strategic depth to defending places in World vs. World.
So to tie something back into a previous show that we did, this makes a lot more sense now with auto upgrades in mind.
Absolutely.
That whole upgrade, that whole change makes a lot more sense now. So
Yep.
Yeah.
it was for a reason.
Yes. Yeah, and all that like, well, we're trying to make it better to defend. There's like some it's not actually that. I mean, it is in some ways. This does improve defending, but really what we're trying to do is just make World v World more fun and more engaging. And like, if by the nature of that we make it more meaningful to hold places, then that is a win as well. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about adding value to that game mode, which definitely needs some value.
Yeah,
So,
and flavor. I mean,
and flavor. Yes, that's a good point too.
The way you play World vs. World is usually never the same each time, but definitely could use some spice to that recipe.
Yeah, sure.
So there's two specifically that I want to talk about a bit more because I think I don't know if we addressed them directly, but talk about the airstrike a little bit. And people been seeing it in the videos.
Yeah. I thought it was up earlier, but it wasn't.
Well, it'll be up eventually.
At some point on the B-roll.
So like that's gonna be like the ultimate defensive mechanic, right?
For now, like John was saying, all of this kind of lays the foundation for us to expand upon in the future. So these are, core systems that we wanted to get in the game, and the reason that we decided to go ahead with an expansion, because some of these systems are just way too massive to fit into our regular release cadence. So once we have this in place, there is just so much opportunity to develop more interesting and more rewarding tactics and improvements in the future.
All right, and the other one I want to talk about real quick, I don't know if we mentioned, but radar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Watchtower, right?
Yep, Watchtower. That one is awesome also. So at towers, there's a tactic that you can slot.
Stop moving your mic.
Sorry, I'm fidgeting. You can slot this at towers, and it essentially turns your tower into a giant sentry. So as enemies pass, you and all your allies can see it on the map. So you can kind of spot big zergs and then make your plans to cut them off. So that'll be really cool. That's gonna, I think that's gonna change gameplay a lot.
What objective is that available on?
Towers.
Towers.
Yeah, towers, the Watchtower.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to clarification.
And the whole like flow of this, just since we sort of talked about it, but it's not super clear. Like, have a guild hall, like upgrade your war room to have these types of upgrades. Go to your workshop, like, and have a scribe who builds the schematics for these. Like, get them in your queue, build them, and like then you consume it, right? Like you use your airstrike, and then like you queue up another one, and then your guild builds up an inventory of these things that they can use and spend at places that they. So it's kind of this constant loop of like getting stuff for your guild, building the stuff in your guild hall, going out into World v World, like using it, and kind of keeping that cycle going, which is super important.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Any closing remarks on any of the World vs. World upgrade systems or the guild claiming system that's going in?
Just to reiterate, I'm personally very excited about it. I think guild claiming needed some love for a long time, and I'm super stoked that we're finally able to do it,
It is
some
not.
justice.
If you compared the current version with what's coming out, like
Yep.
you wouldn't even think they're related.
Yes,
Yep.
they are not.
It's an overhaul for sure.
Yeah. I don't have a guild claiming remark, but someone said it in the chat, so I'll say it, which is like for the guild teams. Like one of the awesome things that is in. By the way, there are a bunch of blogs with all this more info about this stuff coming out.
Today.
Maybe it's
Oh, is it
out
today?
already.
It'll be this afternoon. I think like an hour
sometime
from
today
now.
on the website. And there's a thing that someone asked about, which is like, yeah, you can get like a guild anthem, and then you can have your
yeah.
guild anthem play when you win a battle in.
There'll be perks
PvP.
associated with
Yep.
victories that you
Yeah.
have when you're representing your guild team.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's awesome.
All right, cool. Well, as John said, there will be more information on these features we talked a little bit about today coming out on the guildwars2.com blog today, roughly in about an hour and a half or so. So definitely check those out when they come out. It's a bit more detailed. Obviously, blogs are pretty good at giving like the first rundown of how something's going to work.
Yep.
But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the presentation today. Again, big thanks to Mr. John Peters here for coming on.
Pleasure.
And Jessica as well.
My pleasure.
Anyways, guys, we'll catch you next time. Don't forget, the June 23rd release comes out. Well, obviously, the June 23rd release will come out on June 23rd, but the big specializations revamp that John also worked on quite a bit comes out next Tuesday. So definitely jump in and check that out. It'll also be...
Apparently that's in 4 days, so that's a thing.
Is that stress that I'm seeing?
No, it's fine.
Also, the Lines Arch stuff apparently is a thing too. So.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's an exciting build.
Yeah. It's gonna blow your guys' minds. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Yep.
Thanks for watching Points of Interest.